get a recording. I don't even have a smartphone, you know what I mean? Like, this was my music recording iPad, and I had to throw out all my music on it to do this. At this point, my friends are trying to pitch together to build me an A-frame. I won't even say where, because I'm on record here. It's in a secret location, and it's not where I was previously looking. An A-frame house, like a kit house.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to build us a kit house so we don't have to deal with the rent kind of stuff anymore.
Sure.
It's on a friend's property. I won't disclose where, because it's secret. I'm going into hiding. I already wanted to go into hiding before all of this. That's why the fact that all of this happened sucks. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to conflate two issues. But when I was in the hospital, I go to talk to this guy, and he's really getting me to open up even when I don't want to, about how I was beaten when I was a kid, about how this girl broke my ribs, you know, all the things that contributed to PTSD leading up to what I saw. The reason that I can't process what I saw, right? Yeah. And, you know, how my parents won't listen, so there's no one to open up too close to me, and a therapist is kind of like a hooker. Pay to go in, and then you open up, and they're gone. So, like, it just feels fake. For a while, it feels good, and then over time, it becomes toxic, is what I've found. You know, I had a therapist all growing up, and it never helped. I lied to him. That's the problem. I lied to him because he didn't want to hear it.
Well, then again, that's a bad therapist.
Right. Well, in some ways, he was helpful, but in other ways, he wasn't, because he admitted that if he were to report my parents for what happened, he wouldn't make his pay. He wouldn't see me again. I'd end up with a different counselor who I wouldn't be able to open up to at all, probably. And he was right about that. So.
You said you saw a psychologist, right?
Yeah, his name was Clifford. And he told me I was too cogent to be declared psychotic. And I kept things very trim for him. But I basically told him, when I say that I work for the Angel Gabriel, I mean that in the sense that, what's that psychologist? Carl Jung. Carl Jung said that about Hermes. But it's in a very metaphorical sense. You don't hear voices. It's like a conscience. You just do what you think is right. You sort of got like an idea or a message, but you handle it in the sanest way you can. Sure. And right now, for me, that's my art A, but then primarily right now B, is that I have to report what I saw because I'm not a liar. And that was why he let me out. But, like, does that make me feel any more sane? No, not really. No, it doesn't make me feel any more sane, but...
Do you feel like anywhere inside of you have, like, a loss of hope or a loss of reality, like a loss of touch?
Loss of touch, no. Loss of hope, yeah.
Yeah.
With what's going on, it can be very difficult to maintain hope, and when you do and it's taken, it makes you stigmatized out of doing it again. You ever seen that new show they put out about a month ago on Netflix, The Midnight Gospel?
I have not seen it.
Oh, that's good. It's all about, like, death and processing that stuff. They actually talk about Golden Dawn and OTO on there. They're around, just like Freemasons. And again, I'm not a member of any of these things. I know what they believe primarily, but because I read old Sumerian documents all day for fun. I'm the only person I know that does that. So, again, like, yeah, I might even try to find a therapist once I know that I'm not being tracked down there. I might have to change my identity.
So
I don't know.
Parents or her parents won't help you get out of here?
No. Her dad's kind of helping us, but he's been financially crippled by this. Her mom won't have a conversation with her. That's part of why she's been freaking out. Is her mom's tried to attack us after like 6 months of silence before. Like, we don't feel safe. We're never going to feel safe. They tour and they come down through the area. It's the only area we can really move to. So it'll still have to end up entering court eventually if her mom won't go get help. And since they won't pink slip her, all we can do then is press charges. But we've not been able to press charges because of the police implication, which is why they've told us everything has to start with police, which is why I'm trying to press civil charges right now, is that after 2 years, this has become more of a department problem than individuals. I take, for example, Moore giving me the fake number. I really genuinely believe that Moore did not write down a fake number. I think someone gave him a fake number.
No, he wouldn't do that.
No. Moore didn't know why he was out here either. Moore did nothing wrong on camera. Moore knew he was on camera. I think I've met Moore before that and had okay experiences.
Listen,
it wasn't Moore.
We do truly have a good set of officers, okay? And I wonder, and don't be disrespected by this. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm wondering, because the very first time I met you, you didn't even want to talk to me, and I'm wondering if...
We were scared still.
I understand, but is your opinion of police officers what's causing you to...
My opinion of police officers isn't generally good, but I want to point something out. My opinion of you is not made the day Shane was taken, but Casto was here. And I felt personally that you talked to Shane, and then Casto sort of cut in, and that sort of surprised me. He didn't speak the whole time. I thought that he was, under command, and suddenly it's like, what the hell is going on here? When you came out the time Shane could have gone to the hospital, and you could have done something technically, and you didn't seem like you were going to go too far the way Casto has, and you didn't, You built my trust in the exact same way that I believe his name's Officer Bosley did a few months later. Am I correct that he's a CIT-trained officer with a mustache? If so, he was out here, he's talked to her, and he did all right.
Bosley is a boss. He's high in rank.
That's who they keep telling me I'm supposed to talk to, but I keep getting sergeants who then fuck up on the phone and then say I did something else.
Have you spoke with Officer Galilin yet?
That's who's supposed. Is that how it's actually said, Galilin? My mom called me yesterday and was like, Officer Dillon called. It's like, when I get out there, I'm like, Mom, that's Galilin.
Yeah, Galilin.
And then she was like, well, why is he calling here on my home phone? It's like, that's a good question, because he called Shane, and then she said to call the other phone. He never called me. I'm still waiting. And I was given an incorrect number. I have it written down, and my caseworker saw this happen.
Sure.
So,
now,
like, I guess...
you said earlier that the officers found you on an unlisted number, which is her mom's.
Yeah,
but you have to understand, her mom's called in before. That's why we have her number.
Okay, well, that I didn't know, but interesting.
Yes. So
now,
every time that you call in, we have all of that on record, including family members. I think at one point, her dad or your dad? Her dad.
Her dad?
When I met her dad that one day. So he's called in, so we have his number on record. You know what I mean?
Well, then that's an answer.
Yeah.
But that we needed to know, because my mom freaked out, and she's making my life impossible right now.
Just let her know.
Again,
Mom, don't
she
freak
drinks
out.
and takes tramadol. I've tried to get her into a court over. It's not going to happen. And to get her help, and it won't. At this point, she's just going to waste away on it. But it's like talking to a child sometimes. So, like, I need that explanation to calm her down, or she's not going to.
So that's just an explanation, you know.
So again, like, I can clear this up with Galilin, but, like, this was right after I had called human trafficking. These calls started coming in. Like, yeah, it scared us. We had every reason to be scared, because human trafficking told me abandon everything I own and flee. And I told him, sorry, after what I've been through, I'll sooner die. I have some pride left.
Question, okay? There was an article that was public record regarding human trafficking possibly at Highland Park.
I have not read that, actually.
Okay. That was my question. Did you read that and then you know, get nervous about it and create...
No. It's what I saw. But I did not know about that. Now, I had already heard about human trafficking in Ohio a lot. I had already heard about it in Canton. I had even heard people from around that area tell me the police were involved. But I believe what I see. I didn't jump to any conclusions, or we would have never moved there. We were told by police that was a safe place to go. I didn't know that management was going to invade, and I didn't think that human trafficking would be over my head. Literally.
All right, well, listen, here's another thing, okay? Again, our police department would not be involved in that. That is, I genuinely, honestly have to tell you, you're wrong there.
Then I may literally have to say it's individuals.
Now, human trafficking in general in that area just happens to, for the majority of cases, is a drug-addicted woman who doesn't mind.
That's what it sounded like, too.
Getting fed these drugs.
That's what it sounded like from what was happening.
To stay where she's at, you know.
Right.
Somebody gives her drugs and she just stays where she's at, or he. I'm not making it a gender thing.
Yeah, no, and I had not read that article. I found the Lot article because I really was desperate to find some way of finding out what was going on. Just like I got Castro's full name from a court filing, but I had read his name off the tag. I recognized his face. It's his teeth. That's how I knew it.
Okay.
And Lot, it's his eyebrow. That's what always stood out to me as his big brow. And I know about from the news articles, I know about the court incident. And I know about the incident in Belton in his car. Okay. And I know about a variety of other incidents. Sure. And all this stuff I read in the past 5 days, not 2 years ago when I started trying to file.
Okay, well, again.
Okay, but again, I'm on record for myself here too, right?
Sure. But you have to understand, people make mistakes. And when we put on this uniform, we are...
So I'm going to clarify to you what I've clarified about the 40 officer incident, right? There was a lot of officers.
40 officers, yeah.
It was a bad incident.
Okay, tell me about that.
When I reported, the problem is that, like, just because 40 officers entered the building doesn't mean 40 officers did what I saw. People were in and out.
Okay.
So what I was doing is I counted about 40 because I was counting groups of 5. They came up in groups of 5. And because it was through my door, like, they looked like they were in riot gear, they looked like police, but could some of them have been false police? Yeah, I've said that a few times. I don't know. I couldn't ask them questions.
Sure.
I know that 2 of them were Castro and Lot at this point, because I even know their voices at this point.
Okay, well, let me say something else. And again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful,
of course.
At no point do we have 40 officers on the road ever.
Yeah, I've been told that, actually.
Okay.
I'm noting that this is the second time I've been told that. And that's part of why I don't know if these people were actually on duty. I don't know if people who weren't officers showed up with a couple of officers and answered a call illegally. I don't know. That's not my place to figure out.
Sure.
It's my place to report what I saw. What I saw was monstrous.
Okay.
So,
now, what was the incident? Where was it at?
It was Highland Park, building 641.
Oh, this is the
yeah.
the
That's
day.
what I saw.
Okay.
So what we saw this human trafficking thing going on. It took me a while to figure out what the fuck I was looking at. Sorry for my language. Because we could hear them through the floor in the bathroom. We could hear them through the floor fighting if they were just like throwing stuff around. And what it was, there were two of them trapped in there. One sold drugs, and he kept the woman there. And the woman wanted to leave. She was very overweight. She was definitely, she screamed for drugs a few times, so I would assume she was, addicted to something. And two people would come by and keep them there. So Castro and Lott had come by with a group of officers, and the people that were there that one night were there, and they weren't the residents, right? So this woman just kept screaming, "This is my house! Fucking white cops!" Crazy stuff. And she threatened to shoot him through the door.